Hello guys, I'm Savvy and welcome to a video to celebrate 2,500 subscribers. So we recently reached that just, I think by the time this is uploaded, probably a week ago that this happened, which, I can't thank you guys enough for that. And I decided to do another Q&A video for you guys. And this one is quite a doozy because we have a lot of questions to go through. Because the last one that I did, which I'll link at the end of the video, I only permitted one question per person at a time, which, that turned out to be a great video as well. But this time, I just let your questions run wild and ask me however many you wanted. So we're gonna get started with a few questions. At least get started with the ones that ask the most questions, and then kind of narrow it down to towards the end where it's just single questions or just a couple. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So, the first person that we're going to be looking at that asked questions is a friend of mine, Aurelius, who is also a content creator, which I could put their link of their channel in the description down below for you guys. But we're going to be going through each of their questions at a time, and they asked around 8 questions, so we're going to get through them one at a time. So, the first one is, what is your favorite thing about yourself? So, my favorite thing about myself, which is a pretty good question, is I would say that at least through my experiences as, somebody that's grown up and, you know, had pretty much all kinds of walks of life of people that I've spoken to and everything, that I'm not really a judgmental person, really. I don't really judge people by, I don't judge a book by its cover pretty much, and I'm not somebody to cast judgment on people because I know that there are people who are different in the world, and I know that my life experiences do not equate the same as anybody else's because everybody's different. Everybody has different experiences, and I feel like that's a good trait about me because I'm here to listen to people and I'm here to try to understand who they are, where they come from, etc., without ever saying anything negative about it. And because I want to be a person that wants to be kind to everybody as kind as possible to everybody that I can. So the next question is thoughts on New Zealand. So I like New Zealand. I do. I would actually like to visit New Zealand. I think who runs New Zealand, I believe it is President of New Zealand. I'm sorry. I think because I know Australia has Prime Minister, but I think New Zealand has a president, if I'm not mistaken. But I really like her. She did really well during COVID, and I also believe that if it's true that New Zealand has probably the best elementary schooling system in the world, which I believe to that to be true. I mean, it probably changed over the past few years, but um, that's what I remember of it. And plus, it's a gorgeous country altogether, so I'd definitely love to visit it sometime. The next question is top 5 favorite fast food restaurants. So, um, that's a good question. I would have to say that my number one favorite would have to be Lee's Famous Recipe. That is a chicken place. It's a chicken fast food restaurant and literally, as I'm recording this, I had some of their chicken today with honey mustard dipping sauce, and oh my God, the chicken was so soft, so tender. It was amazing. It was beautiful. The best chicken I've ever had, ever. My second one would probably have to be McDonald's, and that would have to be because of their Big Mac, their chicken nuggets, and their frappes, and their iced coffees in general. They're really good. Third would have to be Taco Bell because I really like their chalupas. Chalupas are good. I miss their quesaritos. Their quesaritos were so good as well. And I like their mild sauce. Their mild sauce is good too. Number four. Actually, I'm gonna switch. So my number one would actually. Well, no. Sorry. Number two is gonna be Skyline. I'm gonna switch that. So number two would be Skyline because Skyline has really good chili. And they have this thing called a chili cheese chilito where it's sour cream, chili, onions. You can have sour cream and onion in it, and cheese. It's so delicious. It's like a burrito, but it's like a chili burrito, pretty much, with all the fixings in it. It's so delicious. I love it so much. And then my fifth one would probably have to be, I would have to say, ooh, actually, that's a tough one. It would have been KFC, but their chicken wasn't that good. Yeah, it hasn't been good in the past, like, or many years, actually. 'Cause their chicken, I don't know, their chicken got really bad over the years. I don't know. It just felt more tough, and it wasn't as tasty as it used to be. But I would probably say Wendy's. I love their Dave's Double, and their chili is good too. I would say their chili is not as good as Skyline's chili, but I will say that their chili with crackers is delicious. Love it so much. And their burgers are good too, so I love it. So the next question is going to be, what is my stance on the state of gaming in 2025, and where do I think it'll go in 2026? So that one seems to be more of a broader question, the state of gaming, because that could mean a different things. It could mean, prices of games, like that kind of state of gaming. It could mean the player bases. It could mean development of games. So to narrow it down, I would say development of games. I think they're going in a good direction for development of games, at least in that state of it. I think there's really cool ideas, especially games that are coming in the future and games that have already been released as well. I think that's great. Um, and I will say that uh, in terms of prices of games, way too expensive. Way too expensive. I don't like the fact that the prices are going up because I feel like that it's more of an excuse for games to be going up as if to, match inflation. I don't think that's true at all. I think it's just a means of them trying to get away with it so that way they can make more money. But, who am I to I mean, I'm judging that. Definitely judging that. And the player base as well. I mean, player bases are different in terms of what game you're playing, what community you're a part of, and I think they're pretty much going to stay the same. I think that part of it's going to be staying the same. It might also depend on any of the future games like, Call of Duty, GTA, which GTA 6, I don't know how much that's going to change, but I'm looking forward to that game. I'm probably not going to want to pay the amount of money that it's going to be worth, though. That's rumored, but. And in 2026, where do I think it'll go? I think it'll roughly stay the same in terms of everything. I mean, the prices might be the same as they are, rising as they have been. But other than that, I think everything else might just stay the same. So, the next question is, what is your advice to get subs quick, according to your experience? So, in my experience of getting subscribers quickly, and there's a few methods that I've done, actually quite recently. One of them is kind of spreading the word yourself. So like maybe probably playing a game, going somewhere where you're able to talk to people in communities and whatnot, and just try to get your channel out there and see if people are interested in checking out your channel and subscribing. And I've been doing that in like the GTA community because I used to play a lot of GTA 5. I did some GTA 5 videos in the past. I've also done a lot of GTA 5 RP streams as well. And I mean, it's a community of gamers. So obviously, if you do a lot of gaming, people would most likely be interested in wanting to check out your channel. I would also say as well, another method would be to maybe upload, at least in this case, what I do with my YouTube shorts is taking a lot of my old Let's Plays and turn them into small clips for YouTube Shorts to kind of bring back the nostalgia of not only just the channel, but a lot of the games that I used to play as a kid as well, and a lot of other people that have played as well. Because a lot of them enjoy, like Luigi's Mansion, Super Mario Galaxy, Galaxy 2, or any other games that were either Nintendo or Xbox or PlayStation, way back when. Probably even older games than that to get that nostalgia back and a throwback or whatever. So that's a good way to get people to probably better for the views in rather than subscribers, but there is that higher chance of you getting more subs. So definitely those methods. Do I have a cat? That is the next question. Do I have a cat? I do not have a cat. My sister, however, they have 3 cats, I think. A lot of cats. But if I had a cat, what would I name it? I would name a cat Butterscotch if I had one. If it was like orange and brown, maybe, or like orange and white, I would call it Butterscotch. My favorite cat channel page or whatever. Who's your favorite online cat? And that's the last question from Aurelius. I don't really look at cat channels all that much. I've been kind of watching um watching my friends that I've made on YouTube, their streams. I've also been watching a lot of Hulu recently. I recently finished Attack on Titan. It was an amazing anime. Love it. I recommend it to you guys. Fantastic. But I don't really have a favorite cat channel. I don't really watch cat videos all that much. I hate to disappoint. I'm sorry. Um, Same with the favorite online cat. I don't really have one. I apologize. But if I ever find one and watch a lot of their videos, you'll be the first to know, Aurelius. Don't worry. And the rest of you will also get to know as well. All right, so that's it for Aurelius's question. Let's move on to the next person. All right, so the next person we are going to be answering questions from is known as Small Bleat, or as I know them as well, Jackie the Deer. So they ask quite a few questions here. So let's get through them quite efficiently, and I'll answer them as best as I can here. So the first question is, how are you today, and are you drinking enough water? I am doing well today, and I am drinking water as I'm talking right now, actually. Nice, clean, fresh water. The next question is, what is your favorite freeze pop flavor? Well, my favorite freeze pop flavor, I haven't had a freeze pop in forever, but I would have to say blue raspberry. Those are always delicious. Very, very delicious. Next question is, do you like coloring with crayons or colored pencils? Um, I think colored pencils because I get a much smoother, like, I don't know, it's much smoother look having it on paper rather than crayons, because crayons, I don't know, they look more rough on the paper when colored pencils are a lot more light and look more, I don't know, polished, I guess, if you will. It might also depend on how you use the crayons. I mean, I've used both, but I do prefer colored pencils overall. So this one is a bit interesting, this next question. Scene. Picture this. The backup RAM in an old Daytona USA arcade machine from the 90s became corrupted due to a noisy PSU, and until a replacement PSU comes in, I should be able to safely short out very specific things to temporarily fix the graphical glitches by clearing old RAM. Kinda. The question is, will bridging component PC62 on the CPU board for 1 minute make the glitches go away until the new PSU comes in? I'm gonna just say yes. I'll just say yes, because I have no idea what any of this is. I mean, I know what arcade machines are, and I kind of have an idea of what a PSU is, because, I've built my own computer. And I know about RAM as well, but I'm not that kind of tech savvy. I'm game savvy, but not tech savvy. So I'm just going to say yes to that. The next question is, it's blank time. What time is it? Clobbering time, hammer time, story time, breakfast time, answering questions by fans time, answering questions by fans as well as hammer during breakfast time, or bedtime. I wanted to go with clobbering time at first, but honestly, since this is a Q&A video, I wanted to do answering questions by fans time. That's what time it is. Exactly. The next question is the glass half full, half empty, or other? I think it all depends on how you look at it. I think it depends on the situation of what could be considered half full and half empty, but I would always say the glass is half full. Next question is, why did those state mastery tests back in grade school have so many pages intentionally left blank that we weren't allowed to write in? Both sides left blank at times, waste of paper, right? What's your take on this? I would definitely say it is a waste of paper. I don't really know the exact reason for it, and even as I go through my schooling towards my master's degree in secondary education, I've never learned anything about that or the reason for it. It may have just been just either a waste of paper, or who knows? Maybe the people who are grading it might be writing in those blank pages with something. Who knows? And my take on this, just exactly as I said, I think it might be used for the people who are grading it or however it's being measured. They probably write on that stuff as well. Or maybe the teachers do it too before they take it wherever they need to go. Not really sure. The next question is, do you know the Krabby Patty secret formula? Formula, I like how you say it like Mr. Krabs. I don't really know, but I know that there's kind of like a theory that the meat in the Krabby Patties is actually crab meat. It's just a theory or a hypothesis. Um, Potentially, that is a possibility that it is made out of crab meat, but I don't really know. Don't really know. That's the only thing I can think of with that is that hypothesis. The next question is, what is Savvy going to do now that I reached 2,500 subscribers? Well, just as we're doing the Q&A here, we're doing this, but also I wanted to just let you guys know that we're going to continue growing and the channel is going to continue doing everything that it is currently, and we'll be doing the same thing in the future, you know, playing all kinds of different games, doing some cool specials like how I'm doing the Q&A here, which I'd love to do way more of these because you guys always can ask me anything you want, even during live streams as well. You could also leave suggestions and stuff so that way I can play games that will be coming in the future, you know, doing all the Let's Plays and stuff. So we're just going to keep growing until we reach our next goal, which will be 3,000 subscribers, which, you know, having 2,500 already is, I mean, just getting to this point, I just never imagined it to be possible. Which I'll be more sentimental towards the end of the Q&A. But the next question is, would you rather drive the Ecto-1 Ghostbusters car for a month or Doc Brown's DeLorean time machine for 30 seconds? I would rather drive the Ecto-1 Ghostbusters car for a month. I think so because it's a more spacious vehicle rather than DeLorean. I feel like I've been more cramped in the DeLorean. And plus, I don't want to go through time with the DeLorean if that ever becomes a mistake that happens when I drive the car. So I'd rather do the Ecto-1 Ghostbusters van or car. I think I'd prefer that over the DeLorean. All right, but that is all of Small Bleats or Jackie the Deer's questions. So let's move on to the next one. So the next person that we have that we're going to be reading their question from is Tears of Lua. And they ask, if you could collab with any YouTuber, who would it be? And 2, which video stream surprised you the most in terms of user feedback? And finally, what's your biggest dream for your channel? So if I could collab with any YouTuber, who would it be? Now, my assumption is that, which I've done collabs before with many friends that I've made on YouTube, such as Lens of Truth, Aurelius, Snake Eyes, Key the Gamer, you know, several others as well. And but I assume you mean more like the bigger YouTubers. What I would say is I would love to collab with Jacksepticeye. That would be a fantastic time. I've watched his content for a very long time. I don't really watch it as much as I used to, but he's a very genuine person, and I think I'd have a great time collabing with him in really anything. Anything that would be an amazing time. iHas Cupquake. iHas Cupquake is another person that I'd like to collab with as well, especially which probably the best game to collab with her in would be Minecraft. I think that'd be a great time. I have a great time with that. And for which video streams surprised you the most in terms of user feedback, I would have to say my Warlock build video involving my Well of Radiance build that I was showing off, because in Destiny 2 I have several different builds that I do in the game. I have different builds that I have that I've saved in the game when they allowed for builds to exist instead of having to switch literally everything around. And currently it's been growing in views consistently within the past week, or actually probably month or so, and it's actually the most viewed video now, because previously my most viewed video was my Peter Griffin household build in Minecraft, and that was done like 5 years ago, long time ago. But more recently, my World of Radiance got to 8.6 thousand views, while that Minecraft video has 8.5. And I've thought about redoing the Peter Griffin household just because it was a fun project, and I kind of want to, bring it up to date since I did one of The Simpsons not too long ago. And finally, what's my biggest dream for my channel? I would have to say I mean, pretty much what the dream is that I've reached pretty much right now, but to dream a little bit bigger is just expanding the community, try to get as many people on the channel as possible because collabing, having a lot of viewers or fans, either interchangeably. So I dream to probably be able to have some sustainability with the channel as well because I have kind of a dream of both having a large community but also being able to being financially stable with the channel as well. So I have both of those dreams there at the same time because both are important to me because I've always wanted to be a YouTuber, and I've always wanted to be I don't have to get like millions of subscribers, but at least at least somewhat known on YouTube, and in knowing that the content that I do is very chill, a lot of fun and everything. Yeah, pretty much that kind of vibe that I hope people can get from the channel. But thank you for all your questions, and we're going to move on to the next person as well. So moving on to the next person, we have a good friend of mine, Chill Collects, that I've met while doing YouTube. I actually met Chill through Lens, actually. I'm really glad I did. And they ask, for people who are just starting to do YouTube or wanting to start, what advice do you have for them that you wish you knew when you started? Well, what's funny is I have a little story that I could tell. So back in January of 2023, because that's when I started taking YouTube more seriously, because I sporadically just uploaded content to the channel. I wasn't really doing consistency with it. I never knew much about emulators until, or at least how easy they were, until my friend Toasty told me about them. I'm just like, oh, it's that easy? So I just, began that and just started pretty much playing the games that I've been wanting to Let's Play for a very long time, and being able to do that at that point in time was amazing. And I will say that that kind of point of advice is what I would give to anybody who's starting out that's new. Definitely don't try to put on some kind of mask or something to make yourself be more entertaining, because I feel like that could make things more draining for you, and it could definitely be harder on probably just the way you're trying to portray your entertainment, or even just mental health probably, because people could perceive you as somebody different than who you actually are. And the only thing that I do for my content is I keep it PG, and the members only content that's more for like mature audiences. So if you guys are interested in that, you could do that. Shameless plug. But be authentic with yourself when you're starting out. Play the games that you would enjoy, and I think you could also think of ways in which that the games that you enjoy, how you can make the most out of them for other people that may enjoy the game as well. Or probably if there are games that you enjoy that are pretty niche, maybe start with something that more people know about, so that way you can grow the channel at first, and then slowly move into more the niche games that not too many people have heard of before, so that way people can get invested into it, and also build a community by the people who actually do enjoy those games if they so happen to come across them. I think that's probably one of the best ways that I could give advice for people that are starting out, because that's what I do. I play games that I want to play and that I do enjoy and that I have plans to do. I don't want to play a game that I think to myself I wouldn't have a good time with. Even there are plenty of games that I've played that even with friends probably wouldn't enjoy, and I wouldn't want to put my audience through that, or anybody that comes across the channel through that, because if I'm not enjoying something, I'm probably not going to have a good mood, you know, throughout the entire stream or video, whatever I'm doing, because I'm just having a good time with it. Make sure that you have a good time. Make sure that you are authentic and you portray the person that you are to the people that are coming to your channel, because they should know you for you and not as somebody different, as somebody that you're not. So the second question they ask is, who was one of your biggest inspiration that made you want to start YouTube? Chugga Conroy. Chugga Conroy was actually the first Let's Player that I ever watched on YouTube. And actually, going back to Lewis' question about collabing, I would say Chugga Conroy would be another person that I'd like to collab with. I think that'd be a fun time as well, because he plays a lot of Nintendo games. He's played a lot of Nintendo games. He does really well in terms of his Let's Plays, because it's more of like Let's Plays, but also informational as well, because he actually does research in the Let's Plays, and I'd say it's like educational Let's Plays in some ways, like enjoying the game that he's playing on top of learning about like the history of the game, or at least learning more about what you can do in the game to get to 100% or something like that. So it's pretty awesome. I also like his thumbnails as well. His thumbnails are pretty fun. That's how I got inspiration to make the thumbnails that I do for my Let's Plays, was because of Chugga Conroy. I kind of got inspiration from him and kind of made them my own, like, I guess my own rendition of it, which I think it turned out pretty good. And I'm going to continue doing those kind of thumbnails because I think they work best. I think they look pretty sleek and professional. I don't like all the clutter that's on the thumbnails or anything like that. But yeah, Chugga Conroy was the first Let's Player that I ever watched, and his Let's Play was of, and I misspoke because I talked about this before in the past. Sunshine was not his first Let's Play. I believe it was Mother, or Ness and Lucas and all that. Those characters. I can't. Earthbound. That's what it is. Earthbound. But Sunshine was the first Let's Play that I watched on his channel, and that inspired me to want to be a Let's Player. But that was all the way back in like 2011, so a long time ago. And 2023 was when I recently was able to do stuff like that. And I mean, I could have done Let's Plays of games on my PC that I could have played to start out, but I really wanted to start with Super Mario Sunshine, and that's what I did. Once I learned about emulators, that is. That is who my inspiration is, and I've got inspired by many others too. Even the current friends that I've made on YouTube, like they inspire me to do things too, to give me ideas for different games to play that they currently play, or ideas in like Minecraft, or games that I have that I'm able to play on top of that, on top of what they play as well. So anyway, let's move on to the next one. Thank you for your questions, but let's move on to the next person. So the next question comes from Captain Morgan, ex-Captain Morgan 9, and they asked two questions. One is, if you could say something to your kid self, what would you tell little Savvy? So for my younger self, I would probably say that someday you're gonna be a YouTuber. Um, it won't come as soon as you think, but it'll happen. And I would probably also tell them that everything will be okay as well. Because some of you might know, recent things that have happened within the past year and everything, and I would tell them that everything will be okay. And the second question is, Captain Morgan says, do you believe in life after love? Which is a reference to a song. If that is a serious question, I would say, yeah, I do. I do. I do think I do believe in life after love. Oh, yeah, for sure. But let's move on to the next question. So the next person is Laser Colorblind, and they ask, what is your best tip to someone who aspires to have a big and healthy YouTube channel? My best tip, or best piece of advice that I would give to someone who aspires to have a big and healthy YouTube channel would be, and I would say that this, I don't know, some of you might sound like it's a cop out, but I could explain a little bit. So I would say just be yourself. And what I mean by that is, and I would actually, that's in reference to one of the previous questions we had. And I would have to say that the reason why I say to be yourself is because there are many content creators out there, especially now, that it's really hard to tell whether or not the kinds of or the kind of person that they are is genuinely who they are in real life. And I I'm not a big fan of the whole, putting on a face for an entire audience of people just to become popular, which, I mean, what I'll say is if it works, okay. But I'd rather want to watch people who are genuinely being themselves and someone who isn't afraid to be themselves. I feel like there's more authenticity there rather than somebody who is one person on camera and then a completely different person, because you never know if the person that they are on camera is going to be the person that they are in real life. And that best advice is just be yourself. Be yourself. Do the things you like doing, the games you like to play, or whatever things you like to do, and try to make something of it. And that's what I've done. And look where I've grown on my channel so far. And we're still growing, which is amazing. And I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. I'm not going to change anything about myself in order for the channel to, get like super popular. I want to get really popular by being me, not by putting on a face just because it works. I'd rather just be the same. So moving on to the next question, we have a question from someone random 704. They ask, if you were able to commission up to $1 million in game development, what kind of game would you try to produce? That is a very, very, for me, I'd say a complicated question, but I really love open world games. So I would probably want a game to be developed that is definitely open world. Something that's like a mixture of, I would say, what kind of mechanics that uh, Minecraft has, and what I've learned recently, a game called Vintage Story. Kind of combine those together, but also kind of add maybe a story to the game, or at least some kind of leveling system. I would also consider Conan Exiles. It's like a combination of several games that I've played over time that have really good features in them that I would like to put together. So, for example, like if 7 Days to Die, for their the amount of building blocks that they have, all the variety of blocks that they have, I'd like to have that in the game because there's a variety of them. There's so many. I would say the graphics wise, I would probably have to say Conan Exiles graphics, which uses Unreal Engine 4, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, obviously, it'll probably be Unreal Engine 5, at least for now, and in this day and age, it'd be Unreal Engine 5. And I would have to say, the crafting that is similar to Minecraft in a way. And I would also say I'd probably say the immersiveness that Vintage Story has with how I'd say has a bit of a learning curve, but is you're able to kind of get the hang of things, or at least it's easy to learn. It's pretty. How do I explain this? So it's a little tricky because of a learning curve, but it's not too difficult where you don't know what to do at all, like how to start. Obviously, there'd be a tutorial at least to get you started, and then you get to learn something, kind of like an encyclopedia kind of thing option that you could have, where maybe not something like a mod in Minecraft that's called Just Enough Items, where it shows you how to craft things, but at least gives you the idea of or the items that you need to craft something, like you need to gather these things or whatever, or at least it shows you what can be made, kind of like how Vintage Story does it, where it shows you what can be made from a specific material that you have. It just doesn't tell you how to put it together, it just tells you what you can make out of that certain resource, if that makes sense. So yeah, I would say something like that. And yeah, $1 million, I mean, I could probably get a lot done with that. I would also say something that could be played single player or even multiplayer as well. And I don't want to have it where you have to buy a server and, do that stuff. I'd rather have, free multiplayer for you to play with friends and stuff. Like online multiplayer, where the game itself might have its own servers for people to play on. But moving on to the next question, we have 56 Mystery Sounds, and they ask, what game do you like to stream the most? That is a good question. I will say that more recently, I have liked streaming a lot of Kerbal Space Program, but honestly, I would have to say more recently, I've been really enjoying streaming Oblivion Remastered. just because I've never experienced the game before, and I'm almost completed with all the achievements in the game, and I've been having a fantastic time with it, and I cannot wait to be able to play Skyrim as well, which for those of you that might be watching this in the future, I probably already have played Skyrim quite a lot, quite a bit, but yeah, I mean, Elder Scrolls games are really fun to play and everything. I might consider maybe playing Elder Scrolls Online on stream, but I don't know how well that would go. But I might consider that as well. But yeah, Oblivion Remastered has been an amazing time for me. So moving on to the next question by Quad FJ4ET, or just simply put Quad. They ask, what was your first Kerbal Space Program mod? So my first mod, if I can think back enough, if I remember correctly, I would have to say it was a visual mod, and more specifically, it was the Astronomer's Visual Pack. That is what I used. I think that was my first one that I used. It wasn't any part mods, it was a visual mod because I was fine with all the parts that I had, but I definitely wanted to make my game look better. And Astronomer's Visual Pack, gave a lot of clouds to the game. It made the planets and moons, or at least the planets with clouds, look more realistic. And it was a lot better. But the true volumetric clouds now, oh my god, that's like my favorite mod. Favorite visual mod of all time. It's so amazing. And for the final question, this is the last question, and this is from Parker McFly, and they ask, what or who inspired you to do games like Kerbal Space Program and City Skylines? So, what inspired me to do both of those games was, I would say for Kerbal Space Program, we'll start with that one. What I would say who inspired me would probably be Matt Lown, just because of all his videos that he does. And I kind of got more inclined to play the game a lot more just because I wanted to, increase my skills and just I know that a lot of people do play Kerbal Space Program, and unfortunately because of the demise that KSP2 had recently, a lot of people moved back to Kerbal Space Program, and I really hope KSP2 gets revived. I really do, but um, it kind of left me in a place where I'm just like, you know what, we'll play the better we'll play the better version of the game and just get all the mods that I can in here. And I mean, one of the reasons why is because of all the mods that could be put into the game to make the experience a lot more immersive, for sure. So Kerbal Space Program most definitely, and City Skylines 2 in particular, since I've been streaming that a lot. I've been watching a lot of like content creators on YouTube do City Skylines content, and one in particular is Infrastructurist, and they're really good at doing City Skylines, and that kind of inspired me to do City Skylines on stream as well. But for the first city that we did of Savvyville, I think I learned quite a bit of what I could do to make the city look a little more realistic because even though the city did look great in the end, it kind of inspires me to do better and make a city look more realistic. Probably get inspired by some cityscapes or something, or at least try my best to make something look, you know, look like a city that you just come across in real life somewhere, instead of just kind of having all kinds of houses just next to each other. We can kind of have more foliage and stuff like that. I'm kind of also going off topic here, but those are games that I really enjoy. I love strategy games. I really like using my brain to think about certain structures, or same thing with a Minecraft or anything that allows me to build. I always want to get my brain moving and get myself thinking to think about exactly how I want things to look. And I think Kerbal Space Program and Say Skylines 2 and even Say Skylines 1 does really well in having me do that. So, yeah. But that's all the questions, guys, that I've covered. And oh my gosh, we have a lot of questions. And this video, I knew that this video was going to be quite long, but I hope you guys stuck around for all the questions and all the answers I had for them. And I really want to appreciate everyone, every single one of you, for being as supportive as you have been on this channel, and you know watching the shorts, the videos, a video including this one as well, and participating in such specials such as this. I really appreciate it so much. And I am looking forward to our next goal. And you know what? You know what's funny is every 1,000 subscriber goal that we get, because the first 1,000 that we got, I did 12-hour stream. 2,000 subscribers, did another 12-hour stream, and now once we reach 3,000, we're going to be doing another 12-hour stream. I'm not sure what. I mean, we still got a little ways to go until we get there, but we'll probably get there before I know it. We'll probably get there maybe before the end of this year. I mean, that would be insane if that were the case. But I want to thank you, everybody, again, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for all of your support, and I wouldn't be here without you guys. And by here, I mean like where we are at this point with over 2,500 subscribers and more, and growing as we speak. And I just want to thank you guys so much, so much, so much, so much. I could keep saying it over and over again. But if you did enjoy this Q&A special video, be sure to leave a like. I'd really appreciate that. And be sure to hit that subscribe button if you are new here, so that way you can participate in future Q&A videos, because I do want to do more of these. I think we could probably do one every 500 subscribers, probably until we reach, like, if we ever reach 10,000 subscribers or more, I might want to, space it out a little bit more. But yeah, anyway, you guys can hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really appreciate that. And I'd like to give a shout out to my channel members as well, which you could become a member by hitting the join button down below. And you get access to exclusive content and using exclusive emotes during my live streams, which I go live every day. I also upload a video every day and some shorts as well. So I got all kinds of content, never ending content that you guys will be able to see on the channel. But I have been Savvy, and thank you so much for watching again. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. See you later. Bye bye.